when you go to a place with a high vibration, certain aspirations that you're longing for, time is faster. Miraculous healings happen faster. So it's more of you being in another frequency. Like hatred is a very low frequency. Love or joy or gratitude would be high frequency stuff. So there's just this natural tendency to gravitate towards beautiful experiences in life. And so the mango tree has that quality of switching you to that place.
Hello, Brave Table fam. Welcome to another episode of The Brave Table. I'm your host, Dr. Neeta, and this is your destination, your oasis to be all things just a little bit more brave and brave with your health. And you guys, I am coming to you from a place that literally has ignited my soul and has been medicine for my soul on such a powerful and different level. And this episode is so different because I'm actually filming this from the luscious greens. If you take a look right outside behind me, the luscious greens of just right outside of Manila. It's a place called the Farm in San Benito, which is roughly 2 hours outside of Metro Manila. And it has been, we are like in the forest, in the jungle. It's been raining. It's been beautiful. It's been magical. And the trees are speaking to me. This episode is literally going to blow you away because I'm sitting with the medical director, Dr. Marian Alonzo, who's been here for 23 years, okay? And this place has won tons of awards. It actually just got picked up by the Marriott to be part of their autograph collection. And it's won many awards as one of the best medical wellness resorts in the world. It's been around for 20 years. And I just had to check it out for myself because obviously love wellness. But one of the fun facts is that they let you bring your family here. They let you bring your kids here. So, yep, I trotted and brought my kids and it has been nothing short of magical. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about this lush heart of the Philippines. It's literally been, the last 4 days has been healing, restoration, and a reconnection back to my body and back to my soul. And now after a whirlwind season of moving, burnout, motherhood, all of the things, I feel like my nervous system really need a reset. And I think so often when our kids are younger, we don't necessarily carve out the time. And in the beginning of the year, I was like, I know I need this. I was having a lot of different medical ailments. And I was like, I know I need this, but when and where and how am I going to actually make this possible? Well, this episode is for you. If you've ever thought that, I'm just going to wait till they get older. I'm just going to wait. Well, it's not as bad. It's not that bad right now. And, you know, this rings so true for me because I still remember when my mom was sick, but she kept pushing through. And she kept pushing through until one day we actually had to call the ambulance because she had so much water in her lungs that, you know, she couldn't even speak. And I remember that day so vividly because that was when we found out that her cancer had come back. And so, you know, as busy mamas, as goal-getting queens, when and if and are you pushing and pushing and delaying and delaying and delaying your health journey until it becomes something where it's right in your face and you can no longer ignore it, where the signs, the symptoms become kind of these tiny, tiny little steps on the road. But when are you going to put yourself first? And so today's episode, literally, I'm sitting down with the medical director of the farm at San Benito, whose work not only merges science, spirituality, and emotional health. She says 90% of the diseases that we have stem from our emotional health. So whether you're craving a full body reset, a quiet moment for yourself, or just a deeper connection to your own spiritual health, well, this conversation is a must for you. And I guarantee you will get so much value out of this. Without further ado, let's bring on Dr. Marian Alonzo on the Brave Table this week.
Hello.
Hi. So good to have you here.
Welcome to the farm.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we are in the jungle. I am obsessed. And so I am curious to start because everything from when we were greeted to the farm. And I was so surprised that you accept children because I've been to other wellness resorts, and the farm at San Benito is actually known for its programs in wellness and longevity. And I'm curious as to, from the moment I stepped out of my transfer car here to the moment that I got into my rooms to just walking the greens, everything is rooted in wellness. So, can you take us back through how this came to be and what the farm is actually known for here and what to expect?
So 23 years ago, this used to be a coffee plantation and a coconut plantation. It was privately owned by a Filipina married to a German. And at a certain point, people would just find themselves here not knowing it's a private property. And for the 49 hectares, because at that time it was 49 hectares originally, of the vast land, there's just one place that people would gravitate to. So that was a question for the couple. How come they are attracted to that place? And the German actually hired, is that the term? Brought in some specialists who started mapping the place, and then they found out that this place vibrates on a higher level. They call it energy wealth.
Oh, wow.
And so they said a place like this should be shared to the public. So that's how it began.
Well, it's so interesting because we had our own little morning walk, and my kids, Brave Table fam, my kids are now 4 and 6. So they're up super early, and sometimes they don't go to bed until late. But we actually kind of stumbled across the secret garden where there was the mango tree. And can you share a little bit about the healing properties of the mango tree? I heard that, people kind of set their intentions there, and a lot of times it comes true. And so how has that been a staple at the farm itself?
It's actually one of the energy wells. There are many, but that's one of the main. So there's another more powerful vortex. That's the master villa. But, when you go to a place with a high vibration, certain aspirations that you're longing for, time is faster. Miraculous healings happen faster. So it's more of you being in another frequency. Like hatred is a very low frequency. Love or joy or gratitude would be high frequency stuff. So there's just this natural tendency to, gravitate towards beautiful experiences in life. And so the mango tree has that quality of, switching you to that place.
Wow. So it's that kind of like we're bending reality in many ways. I love that. And so now the farm at San Benito is globally known for merging Eastern healing with Western science. What makes this integrative healing approach here so unique compared to other wellness retreats?
Well, so you have the medical center, and it's run by medical doctors, Western trained, mainstream trained medical doctors. So you have the science side of it, but we also know that there's a lot of healing from ancient healing traditions, and that's what we try to incorporate. The thing about the farm is the ones who gravitate toward this place would be the ones who are looking for something beyond what is offered out there.
Yeah. And I feel like you guys have done this so well because today, I know I'm braving my health here at the farm and I'm super excited, but today I actually had a kalema. And, we're day 2 here and I'm just loving it. But for people who aren't quite familiar with what tends to happen when you actually come to, the farm at San Benito, can you take us through the process? Because it's very specific.
Yeah.
And, how did I all of a sudden just get, a kalema scheduled into my schedule? Because every single, time is blocked. It's almost like a personalized retreat when you're here. And I actually was so surprised to have that. And I was like, oh, this is great because not only is it rooted in just relaxation, but there's also a real commitment to health and assessment. So if we could talk about that a little bit.
So people would come here for different reasons. So the ones who wants to detox from their physical abuse, in late nights, partying, they would be the ones to be getting the physical detox stuff. Or there are people who would come here for soul searching, and so what will they will be getting would be psycho-emotional clearing. So it really depends on what you're coming in here for. But I think for you, did you sign there's this guest health questionnaire?
I did.
And so based on that, the doctors will try to create a program, but it's always out of free will. If you feel you don't want it, we can change. But those who are brave enough to try it, they'll realize, oh, this is really good for me or something.
It's amazing. And, I noticed that you have 5 restaurants on the property. Did you guys always start out that way? And what was the intention when you first began? And how has that kind of shifted over time?
Yeah, so we had just one restaurant. It used to be called the 85-15. 85% raw, 15% cooked.
Oh, wow.
And it's really healing diet, vegan diet. But along the way, we realized there are people who would come here for their own personal health, but they would bring along their children or their other family members who are not into vegan. So that's how the other restaurants came about. So we have a restaurant for the Blue Zone principle. We have a restaurant for healthy meat, grass-fed.
Oh, grass-fed meat. Yeah. Amazing. And then you also have an Indian restaurant.
Indian restaurant, we have a Mediterranean diet. So when you look through researches, it's still healthy. It's a healthier version, but still not make you feel deprived.
So from detox programs to emotional healing, what are some of the most transformative changes you've witnessed in guests as they've stayed here? And what are some of the things that you have seen most in terms of people coming to heal certain things, whether it's cancer or maybe a loss or a divorce?
So there, off the top of my head, there was this commercial model. So she needs to be a certain build, right? But she was not really gaining weight, more of gaining inches, even if her diet is the same, exercise routine is the same, sleep is the same, hormones are okay. So it's a medical curiosity, actually. But then, if you go through the backstory, the body was producing fats to protect her. So if we work into the reason why she needs protection, work on that, then the fats can go away. It's not needed anymore. So that's one particular case that we have. We do have, for example, cancer patients. It's not really more of the diet, etc. It's a family thing. So there was conflict in the family. And I remember because I was the 4th doctor. So this patient was shopping. He wanted to hear that it's not cancer. So I was the 4th and it's really cancer. But what I said, why he stuck with me was, illnesses are there to bring a message. If we decode the message, the illness can go away. So something like that. And so I did say that at a certain point we need to tell your family. And he didn't want. And I said, I'll be the one to break the news. And at that time, he found that I'm very gentle with my words, so he let me. So I broke the news. And it turned out that there was a big conflict between the children and the patient. The youngest daughter decided to go back. And so with the mended relationship, up to now, I'm still monitoring him. This was a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
But he's still okay.
Has your belief, since you've been trained in Western traditional medicine, has your beliefs kind of shifted a little bit with the amount of emotionality that comes into the aspect of diagnosis and then healing and then eating right? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, in medical school, we were trained that if you encounter a diabetic or a hypertensive, they're diabetic or hypertensive for life. That's what we were taught. But along the way, you realize there are people who either cannot afford continuous medication or they're suffering from side effects. That's why they cannot continue. And that's when I realized there are other ways by which to help patients, not necessarily being dependent on just medications. And that's when I discovered that those who embrace healthy lifestyle, because we do have patients way back in 2002 who up to now diagnosed diabetic or hypertensive who are not anymore diabetic or hypertensive. These are the ones who embrace the healthy lifestyle. But, but then you have others, they're quite healthy with their diet, but not okay with their sleep or with their handling stress. And so you will need to focus on what's the underlying reason for the disharmony and work on that.
Many of our listeners, they're high achievers, busy mamas, goal-getting queens. What kind of personalized treatments do you recommend for burnout or adrenal fatigue that the farm offers? And, how long would you recommend somebody to come here and experience the benefits?
So those who are, who don't have a lot of time, you go stem cell. That's the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those who have time to reevaluate that the reason why they had burnout was because the body was already telling them that they need to rest and they were not resting, or they cannot, because these are top performers and there's no qualified second in line. So they cannot stop. So these are the ones who will have to, go through the usual retreat, and the retreat is about 5 to 7 days.
Okay. And so what generally happens if you take us through kind of a 5-day detox retreat? What would one experience?
So you come to the farm, you enjoy the place. So there's pampering in the first 2 days. And some would actually love it because they've not been pampering themselves for quite a long time. So pampering is important. Those who are open, we do art therapy. And the reason is because when you work with colors, when you work with certain, it depends also, but when you work with watercolor or pastel, there are certain stuck emotions that are already getting moved out into the system. So art therapy for those who are open. Those who are not, you go for sound healing. Especially those with hormonal imbalances, then sound healing would be the way for them. So again, it's highly personalized. Of course, those who have unhealthy lifestyle will go through the physical detox cleanses. And those who don't have that issue but more of just burnout, we do a lot of psycho-emotional clearing, a lot of, it's not really spa. It's more of a specialized session wherein people would dive into conversations with a doctor which are not really, these are hard conversations.
Yeah. Kind of getting to the deeper layer of...
Yeah, like being vulnerable. They're not open to that. But in a very serene space where they feel they will not be judged, they can just be vulnerable. And then you'll realize there's power in opening up.
That's huge. And I can think a lot of times, high achievers just kind of pummel through and they're taught to keep going and going and going. So I feel like this is such a beautiful reminder to give yourself permission. And I feel like that's kind of, what you guys are doing at the farm is to give people permission to slow down, giving people permission to really honor their bodies in a way that maybe they haven't explored before. And, as we know, we're activating more of the right brain in art therapy as well, which is allowing our nervous systems to rest and recover. So now
you mentioned the nervous system because there are those, the ones who are easily triggered. They are the ones who actually benefit from sensory deprivation tanks, which we have here.
Oh, you do? Okay, amazing. Amazing. And so when you're coming up with a customized plan, is it, let's just say somebody's watching this right now on YouTube or they're listening to this and they're like, wow, I need something like this in my life. I've been going. Is there any good time? And from the moment that they book time with you, are you guys already looking at their assessments to come up with a personalized time for them so that they're maximizing their time while they're here?
So even before they fly, we've already have a communication, just like what you filled up. So from there, we have an initial plan.
Okay.
So it's just an initial plan because when they come here, either they forget to say something very relevant, or it's just that it wasn't a priority when they were working on filling up the document. So there's layers and layers of unfolding, and then from there we continuously. It's like a negotiation. Like we have this planned. A patient wants to maximize the stay, but more than anything, the body needs a pause. So then the patient will realize, oh, yeah, I cannot do this much. And then, okay, again, negotiation, and then, okay, then it's always we listen to the body, listen to the person. Even if the person wants more, but the body wants not so much, we try to see always the middle ground. This is what they want, but this is what the body is saying, and then a conversation and the logic. When the person understands, then okay, now I realize why pause is needed in between all the services I want to experience. Something like that.
Okay. Now, so let's talk about the medical side, because how does your team blend functional medicine, because you have a wing of functional medicine, integrative medicine, the diagnostics. I had my body scan done yesterday, and I don't know, maybe you'll be surprised, but my metabolic age is 22. Yes, I think it's 21 or 22% body fat, or my BMI is 21 and my body fat is 22%. And how does the team kind of blend all of these varieties plus this plant-based nutrition, or, obviously some people are more meat heavy or carnivore or vegan or paleo. How does the whole team kind of put it all together in a healing journey that fares well for the person coming here?
Okay, so it's also dependent on the blood type. So a blood type O would want meat in general. But the vegan diet is more healing and cleansing, blood purifying type. So if that's what the person wants, then just for a few days, can we go vegan, or can we do juice fasting? And some would even, I want to do juice fasting immediately. So it also depends. And for a lot of those who come here, they already know what they want. And then there's also a percentage wherein they actually don't know what they want. And that's when we have a plan. Then you have, the doctors are trained to look into the subconscious. So there are techniques. So they're saying this, but you can sense there are other layers. And then you try to explore that. And then you don't say it out loud. You guide them to an experience so that they can also see it for themselves. And then they will be the one to tell you, okay, this is what I'm feeling, etc.
So it's a really big tie to the psycho-emotional states that sometimes people don't really access.
Yeah. So you see there's the physical level, and all of us doctors, we're trained in that. Then you have the body of habits, the body of formative forces. This is where addiction is located. Then you have the mental, emotional level. Then you have the spiritual level. So these levels, so a doctor at the farm will look at the fourfold diagnosis when they plan the services.
Wow. Which is completely unheard of if you go to any other Western-based wellness resort. So I feel like you've kind of combined and hit every nail on the head. So I feel like there's something for everyone here. I have a question for those who, maybe the wife is like super into it and she's like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to go. I'm going to go with my girlfriends. And then they try to drag their husbands along with them, but their husbands are a little bit reluctant, or, of course you want to do this with your spouse or your significant other, and they are just not having it. What do you kind of what's the protocol there? Do you kind of gently kind of bring them in? And do you notice that maybe by day 3, they kind of, the spouses are like warmed up? How does that generally
Case to case, but I
fare?
I want to share something because this is a nice anecdote. So there's a woman who came here, fibromyalgia. So it's basically pain all over the body. And when she has a flare up, it's as if like a barbed wire is wrapped around her and it's being tightened. So that's her description of her condition. And husband comes along, and the husband is a doctor. And then the husband was honest enough to tell me that he's not really into this, but because he's with a wife, what can we offer him? Because he's bored. Okay, so I asked him, sir, what do you have any physical pain? Or and he said, oh, I have a pain here. So okay, so I booked a service for him, and then worked on that pain. And it's a Canadian technology that we use to basically talk to the nerves to let go of too much muscle contraction.
Oh, wow.
And so the pain went away, but he's a doctor. He said, this will come back. So book me a second session tomorrow, which I did. The following day, the pain it's not yet there. But he was so curious that it's not there. So he said, oh, since you booked a slot already, can you find somebody? I've already paid for the service, and treat that person I want to observe. And I found a volunteer who has a keloid, so it's an overgrowth of the scar. Mm-hmm. So I treated that with the same device, and it flattened. So now he's a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Oh my
he has
gosh.
a lot of issues with keloid. So he eventually bought a device like that, and he's now offering that service to in his country.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
One example. But in general, usually the wives would come, husbands are bored, so they have all these restaurants, they have the gym, so they have the water wellness, so they have things to do. But at a certain point, something about the wife changes. Could be the quality of the skin, the mood of the wife is different, so now they're more interested. And then later on, they will come with their buddies or their, the top executives of their company, they bring along the next visit. So
oh, wow. Okay, so there is a shift and change that happens subtly, which is so good. So the farm is rooted in sustainability. I mean, I see everything here. I see we were at the man-made waterfall, which was so beautiful. The kids, we all like jumped in it and had a swim. And, a lot of the pools are not like your typical pools. It feels like we're in the jungle, the rainforest. We actually are. But everything is rooted in sustainability and really with this connection to nature. And coming from Dubai, I was like, oh my gosh, my nervous system is starting to just decompress. And I realized that I'm like, wow, I've craved nature. And I thought we have some nature, especially in our neighborhood, but not as much as this. And obviously forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku in Japan is such a big reverence to nature. How does being immersed in the natural environment enhance the healing process physically and emotionally and spiritually?
On a physical level, you have a lot of oxygen, and oxygen is life-giving gas. So with that, you also have your pores. We're just so happy to receive all these nourishing, healthy ions. Yeah. So on a physical level, there's just this receptivity. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, you're in an expanse. So if you're in a city and versus an expanse, there's just this opening again on another level that happens. It's like the body says, yeah. And there's this grounding. You know how some people would gain weight because they actually need grounding, and when they consciously do grounding, then they realize they don't gain weight as fast. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's on the physical side, clearer skin, etc. On the psycho-emotional side, again, because of that opening, it's like, all those pent-up emotions that maybe you were not able to, because it's the boss or the mother-in-law, so you cannot say, and it's just there. Somehow nature has a way of taking that from you, the excess pressure inside.
Yeah, I've already felt a sense of calmness and grounding. And I'll be honest, I was a little hesitant to come with my kids because I'm like, okay. My husband's like, are you sure you're going to go by yourself? I'm like, well, I mean, because he couldn't come. And so I'm like, I think it'll be fine. And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my gosh. Because again, I've never been to a wellness resort that really welcomes kids. And I was so surprised. And literally from the peacocks that we saw, the geese, the koi fish in the pond, the fact that the kids are feeding the peacocks, it's been such a beautiful way to also have them immerse in the serenity and really fall in love with nature, because I think that's what we model. And I can already feel a difference in my nervous system just being here.
And just to let you know, we do have some kids who came here who, later on they said they want to become a doctor but this kind of medicine. And one of our doctors right now is actually, once upon a time, was a 9-year-old playful child roaming around the farm property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I remember because he's not allowed at the spa, and more than anything, he wants to go to the spa because what you're not allowed to, that's what piques your curiosity.
Of course.
So right now, he's part of the farm.
Oh my goodness, that's so full circle.
Yeah.
That is amazing full circle moment. So many of us walk around disconnected nowadays. We're constantly on our phone. We have so many things to do. We have all of the to-do lists. And we're also connected or disconnected from our bodies. How do you help people reclaim that connection while they're here, especially those dealing with long-term stress or suppressed trauma?
So for the suppressed trauma, there are psycho-emotional clearing. So there are sessions for the strong ones. But for those who are just disconnected, staying with the breath. Mm-hmm. So ocean breath. Because every time you're doing conscious breathing, you're back in your body. Mm-hmm. So breathing is the first and the last earthly thing we'll ever do. So just being connected consciously to the breath already somehow neutralizes the disconnection.
This is giving us permission to do that in real life today.
Yeah.
So, and what's one emotional pattern or energetic wound you see most often in the guests that come to the farm? And how do you begin to unwind it through the programs?
Okay. So one would be, how, for example, when you want to say something, but you hold back, but it's something that's really consuming you. And that can come in the form of, like a lump in the throat kind of experience. Mm-hmm. So those who often have that, they might develop thyroid problem. Mm-hmm. Now, those who pushed it down, these are the ones who would get, chest tightness kind of illnesses. Mm-hmm. Those who push it down further will have stomach issues, stomach acid problems, GERD, gastroesophageal reflux. Those who push it down further will have issues with the uterus and the ovaries, prostate for men. So 90% of illnesses actually come from, the imbalance in the psycho-emotional realm. So when we help them process this or discharge the voltage of suppressed emotions, then they're able to. And we have before and after ultrasound to prove that the tumors are shrinking.
No way. Once they've forgiven, right? Forgiven themselves or the other person.
Work through, suppressed, because there are techniques by which you discharge the voltage. Because when you think about it, the tumor is the body's way of trying to fight back. When you dissipate what the tumor is fighting back, then there's no need. And then the body will just find ways to discharge cell by cell this tumor.
And it's also what you resist persists. And I think a lot of times, in the culture that we were born and raised, you don't talk back to your parents. You don't talk back to your elders. Elders are always right. And so then we kind of lose the ability to even speak for ourselves or speak or stand in our own truth. And I think with a lot of times with Western medicine, we've forgotten that because we have a prescription or a medication for everything. But what you're saying here at the farm, this is a completely different approach where it's not just, you're not just coming for a longevity practice or wellness practice. It's the full connection to your emotional health. And obviously, Brave Table Fam, you know how much I love talking about emotions. And so I'm so glad Dr. Marian loves this too. And so, you know, this is huge because I agree with you as well. I mean, I had both of my parents who died of cancer. And I think a lot of times, you know, given how they were kind of living that American dream of hustle, 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 working so hard, not talking about their issues, I think a lot of times it was the suppression of that. And as we know from it's the Hawking's consciousness scale, that shame is one of the lowest emotions.
Frequency.
Yeah, lowest frequencies, anger, guilt.
Shame is at the bottom.
Shame's at the bottom. Yeah, and shame is just, we're not talking about the things that we are,
And
we
that's
feel
why
bad
it's
about.
so healing to have, you know, this creation conversation, I call it, because what do you want, or what the difficult conversations you talk about in a safe space, and when the space is created inside, then you're ready for other things like dreams. You know, sometimes I ask, so how will it look like? How does it feel like if you're already savoring the future that you want to step into? And you'll be surprised they go blank. They have not thought of that. They're wishing for something better, but have not really thought about that in detail. And to allow them to experience that in an imaginative thinking way, we'll start now to pull that future into reality.
So we're future pacing a little bit. I love that. What advice would you give to somebody who knows that they need healing, but they are completely terrified of pausing or leaving their busy life behind?
Exhale. Because when you do a big exhalation, you're already creating space inside you. And for those who are quite restless, shake. Yeah, because when you shake it off somehow, there's again flow reestablished in your system.
Yes, we're removing that stuck energy.
Stagnation.
Yes, this is what I tell my children, that they can, they tend to scream a lot, but.
But like, for example, because I have a 19-year-old and a 4-year-old.
You have a 4-year-old? Oh my gosh.
And just like, you know, when you said your biological age is, so when I was how old was I? Because, wait, I'm now trying to remember. I was 45 when I gave birth to my 4-year-old. But my biological age back then was 27. So that's why I had the courage to, I can have another child. But going back to what I was trying to say, so my 19-year-old, he's a feisty child. I could see the frustration. So I have this, okay, let's play the lion roar and then, you know, pillow fight. And it's just a space for him to vent out, but in a fun way.
Yeah. Yeah. We have what they call, well, we call it a rage room. And so it used to be in our garage when we were living in Texas, but now it's just a tiny little part of their bedroom where they get to throw pillows and scream, although now it's throughout the house, but at least it's some channeled way to get their energy out. How has your own personal philosophy around healing evolved since working here at the farm?
Well, in the beginning, so you have this detox, etc. But then you realize vegan. So that's how it started. And I really believed in that until I met people and they're not ready for that. So that's when I started to realize that we need to individualize because people are highly different. You have one disease like diabetes, but it will manifest differently based on the uniqueness of each individual.
And it's so true because what works for one person may not work for another. And so for someone considering a visit, whether it's for deep healing or a wellness reboot or maybe just longevity or rest, what program would you recommend to begin with?
So it's the Pure Body Reset. And the reason why this is because, well, again, we individualize, but this is the one that's easy on people who are not that open yet. And then when they realize 1 or 2 days, oh, I want to try others, then we can just add on.
And what would you just say to somebody who's never done a full wellness retreat? Like, this is not a yoga retreat, although there are yoga practitioners that come, and you do have meditation classes. Like, there's the flower mandala meditation class, which is actually, with flowers, which is great. There's a lot of art therapy. But so, yeah, what would you say to somebody who's never done it, but they are kind of curious, but they're intimidated?
So they could just come here for, say, 2-night, 3-day, and not the program, just experience the farm, because there are complementary activities. And then as they walk around, they realize, oh, they want this, they want to try this, and then it can become a program while they're still here, because that's also possible.
What's the longest somebody has stayed here?
6 months.
6 months. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just love that. So
that's excluding those who were trapped during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just talking about, someone who wanted to be here for that long.
6 months. Wow. Wow. It is a truly magical, special place. And honestly, I mean, just feeling the energy around here has been so calming and I think it's also just the incredible team, the staff, everyone has just so much joy. It could also be because we're in the Philippines, but I have a strong feeling that I feel like the farm in San Benito really attracts a lot of beautiful energy healers here in all of the different ways that they support people's wellness. And so now the Brave Table is all about leaning into life's messiness and magic. How does the farm create that safe space for people to truly break open and heal?
Well, the thing is the quality of rapport. You don't poke immediately. You just try to see what the person is open to sharing, and then one share would would lead to a deeper layer. So you do it that way, layer by layer by layer. But a well-trained conversationalist, not the usual conversation, more of healing conversation, is, okay, this person said this, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, one patient who came here, she just wants to lose weight. But there's some like unhappiness in the tone of the voice. Mm-hmm. So I had to use other things like, can we do live blood analysis? And there, you can see some impurities, and we worked on that. And then the unhappiness eventually came out because there was a trauma in the past that needs to be addressed, and the family dealt with that trauma in the past by escaping to another country. So the unhappiness is not really resolving that. But you don't have to go back.
Yeah.
It's just, then the conversation can start.
Meeting them where they're at is what I'm hearing as well. Yes. Wow. Dr. Marian, this has been such a powerful conversation. I wanted to segue into our next round, which is called the Spill the Chai round, because I know you're really busy and we're going to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, we have the Spill the Chai round. Ladies and gents, you all know this from the Brave Table. So you can answer this as quick as you want, as long as you want, whatever comes to mind first. This is supposed to be our fun round, even though we're drinking water, not chai. So, okay, you ready?
Yep.
All right. What is one healing practice you swear by personally, even on your busiest day?
When you wake up in the morning, you declare, power of the spoken word. I bless my life, my family, my future, my finances, my friends.
I'm going to use that one. Oh, it's so
With
good.
Action.
With action. Oh, okay. Like Amy Cardi. That's the power of the pose, the power pose. I love that.
But this victorious action, but also this, hey.
All right. I'm doing this one. Okay. What's a common health trend you wish people would just stop doing already?
You know what? I don't know. What are the health? It's each person will react differently to each health trend. So maybe I won't comment on that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Okay. What's one Filipino wellness secret that more of the world needs to know about?
So there's what you call translocative and transformative healing. So you know how when I talked about suppression, so you want to say something and you suppress, and that goes down. And it actually goes down to generations, and it could come out as intergenerational trauma. So one Filipino thing is to, work on that, transform it.
And heal it.
Yeah, so it's not pushing it down to the next generation, but deal with it now. And because Filipinos are very, we're Catholic Christian, so we invoke in the healing love of Jesus Christ, or, something like that. And then just introduce this holy light into the space.
Yeah. And get rid of the shame. That's not something that we should be all carrying anymore. I was also going to say, what about the hilot massage? Because I'm getting that tomorrow and I cannot wait. For those of you who aren't Filipino, you want to tell them about what the hilot massage is?
Hilot massage is basically, so it's not just a technical, hilot is really sensing which part of your body, because there was before the hilot massage, the history of that would be putting, banana leaf and sliding that over your body. And certain parts of your body the banana leaf will not slide, because that's where the stagnant energy is. So in the same way, a trained hilot massage will work, and it's stuck here, and work on that.
To open up the energy blockages.
And to let it flow and out of your system, guide it out of your system. So hilot is also like a lymphatic drainage in a way, because there's this guiding it out of your system.
Are they still using banana leaves?
Now, no, not anymore.
Okay. But traditionally banana.
That's how you do it.
Oh, wow. So amazing. And it's usually 4 hands, right?
It's a variation.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. If you can prescribe one thing to everyone listening or watching this right now, what would it be? And bonus if it is including something from the farm.
Is that again, E?
If you could prescribe one thing to everyone watching or listening to this right now, no pins, no needles, what would it be?
Pause.
Oh, pause. Yeah. Yeah. So good. What describes this season of life for you in one word?
Season of harvest.
Yes. Perfect. And what does it mean to be brave?
Alonzo means courage. So it's really, you might not win, but you give your all. And behind that, you have the backing of something higher than you, and you're just the instrument. Then, with that as a backing, you can be braver.
Amazing. Well, wow. This was such an insightful conversation. You have so much wisdom. I am so glad that we have crossed paths, because I don't think I've met any other medical trained practitioner who is so well versed in emotional healing as you, and you've kind of infused it into everyone that is here at the farm. And I'm so glad that everyone can learn more about the farm at San Benito, because it really is truly a magical destination and place. And I would say it's by far, and I've been to the wellness retreats in Bali and in Phuket and in Koh Samui, and I would have to say that this is probably the top. And it's no reason you guys have won so many awards as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right, guys. I don't know about you, but I still have goosebumps literally from my conversation with Dr. Marian. So many things that I think, we go through as mamas, as goal-getting queens, as someone that is committed to their journey of healing and health. And I know if you've found this episode, maybe somebody sent this episode to you, maybe your friend sent this to you, or maybe you're just on a journey braving your health. Maybe you're on a journey braving your emotional health or your mental health. But what about your physical health? What about your longevity? What about your next era of who you're becoming? Thank you for being here. I hope this episode has granted you just a little bit of peace, not only in your day, but also in that you can actually give yourself permission to think differently about what is next for you. Maybe it is a 3-day retreat. Maybe it is something at the farm and you'll make your trek to San Benito. I really wish you will. They actually created this incredible discount code for you just by watching the Brave Table. So you can actually go to the farm at San Benito. I'm linking it down below in the show notes to learn more. And with your discount code BRAVE, BRAVE, at checkout, there are blackout dates, but I just think that you will literally get so much value out of pouring into yourself. And if it's not coming to the farm at San Benito, what is something that you can actually do to shift your overall health? Is it maybe complaining less? Is it having more gratitude to start your day? Is it perhaps maybe taking that, those 10,000 steps that you said you were going to begin walking, or maybe taking your health seriously and checking in on that 6-month checkup for getting your blood work done? What is it going to be? Drop it below in the comments. If you are watching this on YouTube, let us know what you are braving in this season for your health. What are you giving yourself permission to do less of, or actually more of? Go ahead and click the follow button. It helps us grow the show more than you know. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you until next time on the Brave Table. You know I've got so much more in store for you, so if you are really ready to dive in and keep owning your emotions like the boss that you are, click right here. Go ahead, don't be shy. I'll see you in the next one. Keep shining.